This is the morning shift.
But my life is good.
The Men's Den, thanks to
Real
Speights. Good on you, mate.
Yep, it's time for another Men's Den. That's where we slow it down a bit and, you know what, a bit of a conversation. It's all thanks to our mates at Speights, helping mates be better mates.
Shift Nation, this is for anyone, and they're not all of us, all right, but you might be one yourself. You might have a sister that's like this. You might have a cousin that's like this. Your best mate could be like this. Your mum or your father could have been like this. They are go-getters. They are those people that they cannot sit still. They have to be moving. Potentially incredibly high achievers, people with huge ambition. And I don't know, I remember seeing a quote, and it was like, sometimes our ambition is just our masked trauma. And I was like, whoa, that sounds interesting. So I did a little bit of research myself, because often I'm a conversationalist. I do enjoy being able to dabble in a few different conversations, particularly with the people that I love. I enjoy talking about emotions, our thoughts. Obviously not getting to any answers, because that would be boring. You'd solve the problem, but maybe better questions. And part of me looking into this, the quote that started all, ambition is often disguised as trauma. This deceptively simple idea points to one of the most socially praised yet psychologically complex patterns in human behavior. The high achiever who cannot stop, who cannot rest, who cannot feel safe without a goal in their hands. And I just, if this is not you, you're probably just not going to find this interesting, and that's fine. But I just want to get through a few touch points in today's Men's Den, and we're just exploring this kind of idea, because I think I don't think that this is me in particular, but I've sort of unpacked why not, is because I try and avoid disappointment. So I don't often have the next goal that I'm like super locked in and interested on, because of my own avoidance of what I think that can set me up to feel. So mine's kind of different. So I'm not trying to point out anything that I'm not dealing with, so I can be like, haha. But I think this is incredibly interesting, because I think we know like people like that in our lives, and maybe can help us understand them more.
Who do you know? Who do you reckon? Like, because I feel like this is me to a T. I reckon there'd be...
Yeah, some of this would be you.
Yeah.
We've got I know heaps of people like this. My dad's like this.
I reckon I'm like it, but not in the overachiever sense, but I do something to stay busy all the time, so I don't have to think about things.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I think you can morph it with even just sitting on your phone. You know, like you can let 2 hours just fly you by, as opposed to just being there and being... It's probably a modern way of looking at it.
Yeah.
You know, I think back in the day, it was really that overachiever, get your hands dirty, you're always busy, you're always moving. By the time it's time to bed, you go straight to sleep, you wake up early and boom, you're rolling again.
So I'm riddled with guilt if I stay on my phone for too long.
This is you.
I'm riddled with guilt if I'm sitting watching a TV show. Like, I'm like,
Yeah,
it's
I wish
sunny
that was me,
outside.
bro.
I need to be going doing that. And like, if I waste a day, I'm like, dude, I'm be dead tomorrow anyway. So like, why am I? What I could have done in that time? Yeah.
So yeah, this could be you, Matsu Mark. I didn't want to make that distinction, because then all of us would be like, that's Mark, you know. Just worry about yourself, okay? And let Matsu Mark decide if this is him. But basically, when drive is really a disguise, a research-based deep dive. Part 1. And I don't know where we'll get to on this. We could maybe take some of this up another time. I'm not sure. But here's where we'll start. What the research says. At first glance, ambition looks like the ultimate virtue. Our culture worships it. But a growing body of clinical research from trauma therapists, I'm going to say the word trauma, but I know that's a bit of a buzzword, and some of us can be turned off by it, because it feels like, we're talking about that again. When you hear, I want to try to say wounds, okay? Because we all got wounds, and they're either still scarring over, or we're figuring out how to bandage them up. But just stay with me here. But a growing body of clinical research from trauma therapists, neuroscientists, and psychologists is uncovering a darker truth. For many high achievers, relentless drive is not born from passion, it is born from pain. When a child grows up in chaos, instability, emotional neglect, or conditional love, their brain is forced to adapt. Studies published in PMC National Institutes of Health confirm that childhood adversity triggers lasting changes to the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal HPA axis, the brain's central stress response system. In simple terms, the nervous system gets stuck in a state of high alert. The brain, I'm going to mess this up. The amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, becomes hyperactivated. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thinking and emotional regulation, becomes underactivated. The result is a person who operates in a near constant state of urgency, is always scanning for danger, always preparing for the next threat. For many, achievement becomes the antidote to that threat. Research from the University of Zurich reviewing PTSD and motivation found that motivational constructs, particularly self-efficiency, locus of control, and self-esteem, are deeply interconnected with trauma responses. In other words, how hard you push yourself is not separate from what happened to you, it is shaped by it. The dopamine loop, wired to chase. Development, I just find these things interesting. And I know like you're probably thinking like, okay, where are we getting with this? But we might not get anywhere with it. I just thought it was an interesting passage. The developmental trauma creates neurological changes that prime the brain for addictive behaviors. Work, achievement, and status seeking trigger dopamine, the brain's reward neurotransmitter. For someone whose early environment was unpredictable and emotionally unsafe, the structured dopamine rewarding word of achievement feels like the most stable thing that they have ever known. Trauma therapists note that this is especially pronounced in women with relational trauma backgrounds, where professional success becomes both a means of escape and a new form of captivity. What is it masking? What is this drive potentially masking? Trauma-driven ambition is not random. It is brilliantly engineered psychological defense system. It is a brilliantly engineered psychological defense system. Here is what it is actually hiding. Number one, the fear of being invisible. Many high achievers grew up in households where love was conditional, awarded based on performance, behavior, or being the responsible one. Achievement became the language of worthiness. Underneath the resume is a terrified child who believes, if I stop producing, if I stop existing, if I stop achieving in people's eyes, then I will stop being loved.
Oh, God. Hear that.
What is it masking? 2, could be unprocessed grief. Ambition is extraordinarily effective at consuming the present moment, which means it is equally effective at preventing you from feeling the past. Loss, abandonment, neglect, these experiences do not disappear. They get routed into productivity. The 80-hour work week is sometimes a grief that was never allowed to be a grief. Chee! What is it masking? 3, the illusion of control. Children in chaotic or abusive environments have no control. Achievement is the first thing that they ever get to control. As adults, hyper-ambition often masks a deep terror of powerlessness, a belief that if they let go of the wheel for even a moment, everything will fall apart exactly the way it did when they were small. What is it masking? 4, a worthiness wound. At the core of trauma-driven ambition is almost always the same wound. I am not enough as I am. Every degree, promotion, and milestone is an attempt to finally close that gap, but it never closes because the wound is emotional and achievements are external. No amount of success can heal an internal belief that you are fundamentally inadequate. What is it masking? Last one, 5, the inability to receive. Trauma-driven achievers often struggle to feel joy when they reach goals. There's a momentary relief and then an immediate pivot to the next target. This emotional numbness is a classic trauma symptom. The nervous system does not feel safe enough to open and receive. Celebration feels dangerous. Rest feels. They trying to stop this healing.
That was
so
perfect.
They trying to stop. They just put the smoke alarm off.
You in the bag so much, you're cooking right now.
Celebration feels dangerous. Rest feels like failure waiting to happen. Now,
You're a dick.
dude, can I just say, when I was reading this, honestly, I'm not thinking that's Matsuo, that's my friend. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, man, could this help me understand maybe myself more, and then like maybe to help others more, like, because the ambition thing, I couldn't care less. But when it's broken down into these 5 things, I'm like, that makes me want to create space, man. That makes me want to understand. That makes me want to be more empathetic. That makes me want to do more to help you, you know? Understanding these things when they're written out like that.
It's amazing. Like, so when you read through all of that, right, I wrote down the key things, the key words that struck. So at the very start, the first word I wrote down was instability, which is definitely something that I felt from the ages of 0 to 3.
Absolutely.
Never had that. I didn't have a mum, didn't have a dad. I was shipped around. So the feeling of instability is definitely something that I 100% relate to. The other words didn't. They kind of flew past me as not being something I connected to. Wired to chase. Absolutely. I'm wired to chase. I know that's something I'm doing. And it's definitely a masking of instability that would have been there. I don't know how to...
Yeah, what do you replace it with, right?
Do you know what I mean? Like, if there's anyone else who's this resonates with them as well, all I can think of is at least we've turned it into a positive to a certain extent. Because there's nothing wrong with being wired to chase. If that's how you're going to deal with... Because I have been through years and years of counselling when it came to dealing with the instability, I had this inner need to, if any female paid me attention, I had this inner need to almost worship them, because all of a sudden this was, from a young age, and that instability, you wanting that mother figure, whatever happened, so much unearthing of that. So where I landed is possibly the wired to chase and to achieve. Man. All of those words, though, the things, like, there's a resonance there with comfortability, the achievement, the invisible factor of, not wanting to be invisible. But I think the one that really hits the hardest for me is the inability to receive and to be able to celebrate. It's never enough. And it's not because I'm not really proud of the things we've done. I'm just using it from a work sense, right? And I figured, man, if I didn't have no mum for the first 3 years of my life, we wouldn't be anywhere, man. I'd drive us to be here every single day, No, there's a real insatiable need that whatever we've achieved, to me, is still, it's not enough. And it's not because I want to be bigger or better or anything like that. There's just something that is always tugging at the back of me. That'll come all the way back to that instability in childhood. And the worst thing is like, you never ever feel like you've done anything. That you've never really feel like you've cooked. It's not, you've never, and some people can sit, and I think the scariest word I know in this world for me personally is contentment. Because I truly believe I'll never find contentment with the way that I'm wired. I'm never content. There's always got to be something else I'm striving to do. So this has been a wonderful task. Thank you, Jordan.
Even as you, I feel like this is the stages necessary to get through. Even as you say that, you can feel the question you're also asking yourself was like, well, that's an issue.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But often before you can form words to your emotions and things, it's like, that's not an issue. Like, what's an issue is stay busy, get out here and get after it. What's the alternative? Sit around, cry, be lazy, be a loser, right?
Yeah.
And that's where often, the drive can be a positive thing. But I kind of think about it without consciousness of And obviously this feels like it's directed at you, but this is directed at all of us listening. Without consciousness of our wounds, we're just hamsters on a wheel, right?
That's it.
So yes, you wake up and you could argue, well, you ran today, but you're not going anywhere, right?
Well, not in the race of your life.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you might have achieved something on a global front, but or within friendships, but ultimately you will still be at the start line,
Absolutely.
going round and round and round. I think anyone who is listening to this should be able to either understand a friend who may be wired this way a little better, or if it's you, I mean, there's no harm in knowing, right? Or feeling or thinking. And maybe for you, I wrote down all the different possible reasons as to why it is the way you are, or some of the things that come out of it, like achievement, invisibility, all that kind of stuff. Maybe one of those is different for you. I just know the big one for me is the inability to be able to receive
Mine's that
nice
too.
feeling.
Like,
Yeah.
mine's definitely that. I don't know if I'm linked to all of these, but I definitely felt that last one in terms of like, I just, as soon as something's achieved, I just pivot on to the next thing.
I've thought about this with us, and like I
hate it.
Man.
You always get down on us, and me and Michael are like, sorry, but what do we do next?
But yeah, but I also like, I've started to, and like, it's just, I know, shut up. But like, us kind of with some of these goals and kind of where we want to get to, that scares me, bro. Like, I like just being a kid from New Zealand, you know, and like, you have that little inner sanctuary of your own, and the world can't really get, like, us growing to this exponentially big thing, which maybe we do, maybe we don't. But that scares the living daylight out of me, because I have imposter syndrome, like, yeah, you wouldn't believe. Like, I think probably some of it's quite a mask, you know, but at the heart of it. So like that, I thought about it on the other level. I used to feel that, and now it's more like it scares me a little bit, some of these things that, one, we're lucky enough to do, and I always want to do them, and they're so great. But on the flip side of that coin, it's like I love my peace so much. And like, how do you protect your peace?
I'd love to have peace, Brooke.
I don't have it, you know, but I would love that, and I aspire to have that.
Yeah.
And I hope one day when this is all said and done, that we can all be whatever peace looks like to us, whether that's living in Australia on the beaches, or having a farm, your family's all set up, or you're still working. It's like whatever peace looks like to us. I hope at the end of this, and I hope for everyone, man, I hope for everyone, you can just find peace, because a peaceful life must be so nice.
But this is the hard part about peace is
You got to face
have to go
some
and
demons,
face-
bro.
I
I think you have to go to the depths of hell sometimes to get to the other side. Like, you have
Correct.
to go through it to find peace. And I don't know if I'm willing to do that just yet. That's the truth of it. Like, I know what I have to face head on. I just don't know if I'm willing to do that right now, because that shit seems scary to me.
Yeah, that's a bit of me, 100%. I wanted this to, I didn't just want to raise the question on today's Men's Den. There's actually a way to work through some of these. However, I think for time, I'm gonna post this to next week's Men's Den. Because the answers are quite elaborate, and they do need to sit in them. So next week, I'll quickly go through what those were, and then I'll also talk about what questions could feel empowering to ask and where to go. Just so this doesn't feel like...
Okay.
But I will say this.
Leave us here standing naked in front of the entire crowd. Cool.
We can start by thinking about those if this is you. A final word. If you have built something remarkable from a painful beginning, that is not nothing. That is extraordinary. The work of healing is not about tearing down what you have built. It is about finally being able to enjoy it. It is about building the rest of your life from a foundation of self-worth rather than self-proof. You were always enough. The ambition just didn't know that yet. The title of this little article that I found was When Drive is Really a Disguise. The quote that started it all: ambition is often disguised as trauma. This deceptively simple idea points to one of the most socially praised yet psychologically complex patterns in human behavior. The high achiever who cannot stop, who cannot rest, who cannot feel safe without a goal in their hands. So just quickly there, what is it masking? The fear of being invisible, unprocessed grief, the illusion of control, a worthiness wound, the inability to receive. Here's the paradox. The more I heal, the less ambitious I am. This widely shared sentiment, reported in essence of across mental health communities, is not a warning. It is a signal that the nervous system is finally learning that safety does not require constant output. As healing deepens, ambition transforms from fear-based to values-based. I should keep reading.
Mm.
But before I do that, let me just like color some words. Like that is such a thing, particularly I've found in like the spaces I'm in around my bros. And when we've got to like the muck of things, it's like what no one tells you is that when you grow up in an environment where someone mistreated you or life has thrown things that make you really angry, no one really credits that anger's an amazing fuel. And when you ask someone to replace anger, it's like telling them, no, you got an EV car now. You don't got to put diesel in the engine. It's like, what? It's like, that ain't going to go far. Like, it's this fear of what got me to here and all the costs and all the what I've had to go through. You're telling me I now have to like just like let it go. And man, I've sat in conversations and I've looked across the room at some bros that I love, and I have made it a point to like honor the fact that, bro, let's just like acknowledge that. Let's just acknowledge. By the way, I'm not a counselor. I just enjoy talking to my mates. Let's acknowledge that, man. Anger's all that you were able to be given to drive you. But if you're asking yourself now, you're more run down, you're more tired, you're emotionally unhappy. And it's because where we're going, where you want to go, the diesel ain't gonna get you there. You know, you're recognizing this kind of turning point in your life where like I'm frazzled. I need to switch out something here.
You know what it is too? Like, it's genius that you did use the terminology on cars and diesel, because there's actually a more healthier, a cleaner way of getting to your goal, and it's actually EV. It's not going to stop you from driving. You know, you're not going to stop getting to that destination, but you can actually do it in a cleaner way, in all senses of the word. You don't need anger to be driving you or diesel to be driving you.
And we're not supposed to drive the length of the country and back every day. Yeah, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
We're just supposed to get to the next passage. Shut up. Trying to like make the example better. Shut up. Guys, the triggers. I don't want to rush, so I'm just going to try and get through this. And if there's a part 3, there's a part 3. All right?
How are you going?
You wouldn't.
I had so many messages this week. Where's the answers?
Part 3, trauma-driven ambition. Remember, guys, the concept here is that is your drive really a disguise? Okay, let's bring it back. Trauma-driven ambition does not appear out of nowhere. It is activated. Yeah, some of you are like, do I have trauma? No, you don't.
Yeah, if you gotta ask.
or all us lazy folk out here like, this ain't for me. I'm for. I ain't done nothing in a damn near minute. Like, what are they on about? Hold up. Trauma-driven ambition does not appear out of nowhere. It is activated and sustained by specific experiences and environments. These are some of the most common triggers. So it's understanding, like, you can identify the masks, but now it's like, what triggers that feeling? Childhood and origin triggers. Conditional love, affection tied to performance, grades, behavior, or being the good one. Emotional neglect, needs consistently overlooked as a child, emotions dismissed or mocked. Not having a place at home or from your parents where your emotions, as you're trying to sort them out, where they can land, right? Parentified childhood, being forced to parent your parents or siblings at a young age. Instability or poverty, learning that achievement was the only reliable escape route. And yeah, abuse, emotional, physical, or sexual. Achievement becomes armor and identity simultaneously. Achievement becomes armor and identity simultaneously. A parent with unprocessed trauma, addiction, or untreated mental illness. Being the first generation achiever in a family, carrying the weight of a lineage's hopes. That's the triggers for childhood origin triggers. Adult triggers that reactivate the pattern. Criticism or negative feedback. Even mild critique can activate childhood shame spirals. Even mild critique can activate
Right,
childhood
no.
shame spirals.
If you feel, I think that landed on me. Like, if you feel that, there's this like innate rage and anger that
Yeah,
the value of the rage doesn't
doesn't
match the scenario, and I constantly live in that. But I've never thought about,
Critique can activate childhood shame spirals.
yeah, and like I'm thinking about it, and this is not TMI, but in my last therapy session, I feel like I'm always saying that when we get to this point of the show, but it was
It's
talking
good
about
you
like
do that because it's good to hear someone that is trying to get themselves help, and
What?
it's really awesome that you say it, bro.
yeah, it was a lot to do with shame and growing up and having shame and like identifying some of these things, and I didn't really understand what I had growing up, and then man, what I actually did, this is sorry,
No.
by
100%.
side to your point, but just if anyone is like in a similar spot, what we actually tried to do for my last session was go and see I've never spoken to like my inner child before. I don't know if you guys have done that before, but it was it was a real healing moment, and she wanted me to go and find, sorry, I know I'm going somewhere else now.
No.
She wanted me to find my inner child and go and see him, and then I was like, okay, what age would I like to find, younger me? And I landed on like that 11, 12ish, and then I knew where I was, and then she said, go and hug him. And so I'm hugging my younger self in my mind, and I can see it all like so vividly as it's all happening. And then she said to me, she did like a really good job of just like triggering the thing. And then she said, what would younger you say to older you right now in this moment? And I was bawling my eyes out, and I just said, I would never want this moment to end. I felt this hug that younger me needed. Like, I didn't know that I needed that, and I didn't really necessarily get that hug growing up. And
there's that, and
bro,
some of that is like shame. Is it like?
Well, and to full circle, it was back to like I would see other people in their
100%.
in their
families, what they
and just
drop-offs,
like a son
pickups.
being picked up by his dad, like there was, and so like I didn't have any of that, and so like I eliminated everything outside of it. It was just like armor or protection that I did this thing where it's like, I don't care. Nah, but I actually really did, apparently. And I didn't know that I really, really did. I just had this energy. And now so there's that shame, and maybe that like coincides with now, because it's like this small thing. And I know you guys feel it. Mark, Jordan, I know you guys feel when I get like real hoa. Sit there like, relax, bro, it's not that serious. But there's nothing, bro, like nothing I can do about it. Or maybe there is, but I haven't been able to work out what that thing is. And
Well, you're doing it right now. Like, literally voicing that you even know that we sense it. That is doing something, because now it's like your brain will now process. Like before you had this conversation, you'd probably go home in the car and be like, I just fully freaked out, or like, why did I do that? But even like even wording it like this changes where your brain goes now and what
Changes
your
the
emotions
wiring.
is. 100%.
Yeah. And you're more aware of it.
Like, you'll need more, yeah.
So the smaller you
no, that's
appreciated the hug from the older you, almost like a father figure.
bro, yes.
Holding.
And I honestly think that hug, and bro, this sounds like what bollocks and BS or whatever, but like it landed on me. Like, if I had that hug when I was younger, I feel like so much of my life would be different now. I don't know if that makes sense, but in my mind it makes sense. If I had
Absolutely
that,
makes sense.
that it was just this like feeling that I'd never felt before, and I think if I had that growing up, a lot of my like troubles and trauma, I guess, that maybe look different. I think that'd look. I think I would. I think I walk real soft externally, but internally, I don't think I walk as soft as I maybe feel, and I feel like I thud. Like when I walk, in my like how I feel is like boof, 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 boof. Everything sounds heavy when I'm walking, but when I'm trying to show it externally, I feel like I like trying to act like I walk really light. And I think having that hug would have eliminated a lot of like the heavy feeling that I feel inside.
Can I say before we move on, I've seen you hug Winter.
Man, this kid can't get it. Yeah.
Totally, but I feel like, where they talk about breaking the cycle and stuff, like
Yeah,
you've
for sure.
absolutely broken that down, and you've managed to turn into a person who, he will never long for a hug from his dad.
For sure. I
Which is-
appreciate that.
yeah.
Because I 100% make that effort. He's like, bro, enough. Get off me, cuz. Like, piss off, Dad. But yeah, I appreciate that, bro.
You're hugging you when you hug one.
Bro, for sure. This is part of it, man. Like, 100%.
Nah, I
Sorry.
love that. No. And you know why this is good? Because we can read these things, but they still need to land somewhere. You know, they still need to not just be words that we're like, ooh, that was like, you know. So I love that. I'm picking. This is definitely going to a part 3 though. Okay.
Sorry, guys, my bad.
But you know what?
No, it's not.
No. But you know what? Because it needs this, right? We hear something, we go sit with it, we come back and we revisit it. I like this. So just quickly, we've gone through the childhood origins, adult triggers that reactivate the pattern. Criticism or negative feedback, even mild critique can activate child shame spirals. Stillness or rest. Without activity, the suppressed emotional material surfaces. I know someone very close to me who's exactly like this. They're the most ultimate high achiever. Even if I told you who they were, you'd just be like, what the hell? Like, they've done like the most. They're like amazing.
Just say my name. Sorry.
Why'd you say it like that, though?
Yeah.
Say my name.
But like, they're off going to, they're off doing the most now because when they sit still, stillness is like aggravating to them. It's like, it just gets really loud, right?
Mm-hmm.
Witnessing someone else's success reactivates not enough wounds. Why is that, Jordan? No.
You know,
That could have been me if I didn't have to go through things.
I am so glad
That person didn't lie. No,
that wound doesn't exist in me. Like, I'm so glad because I do know people who do, you know, they get zest when they feel a little bit like broken or hurt that someone else is doing well. I'm like, I can honestly tell you, I'm so happy for everybody's success. Like, if anyone is, unless they're eggs, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
Cheerleader.
So no.
well, no, if it's success in a derogatory way, is what I mean. I don't want to be.
No, I'm like that. I'm only angry at the eggs, bro. We're all like, look. Let me get to this. Okay. Intimacy or vulnerability. Deep connection feels dangerous. Work is safer. Financial insecurity. Even temporary scarcity can trigger full survival mode ambition. Life transitions, job loss, breakup, health challenges, familiar chaos activates old coping, and being praised for overworking. External validation reinforces the trauma pattern. Signs you may be living this pattern. You cannot remember the last time you rested without guilt. You feel your worth evaporate when you are not productive. You reach goals but feel nothing. Just pressure to set the next one. You secretly believe other people who rest are lazy or will fall behind. You use your work or achievement to avoid uncomfortable feelings or relationships. You struggle to delegate because you do not trust others or yourself to be good enough. Success brings temporary relief, not lasting joy, and the thought of just being without an agenda feels terrifying. And can I just say too, like, we need to remind ourselves that there's nothing wrong with, in moments of our lives, over prepping, right? There's nothing wrong with doing more prep than needed and mitigating a potential problem and then having an answer for it. We're not saying that, but what we're really talking to here is like, where does too much of anything's gonna be harmful for you, right? The last part, what to do if this is you. Recognition is the beginning, not the end. If you see yourself in these pages, here is a research-informed, compassionate roadmap forward. The goal is not to kill your ambition. Let's put that out there, whānau. We're not saying that ambition is a bad thing, right? This goal is not to kill your ambition. It is to free it from fear, right? Step 1, name it without shame. The first step is the most powerful. Acknowledge that your drive may have a wound underneath it. That is not weakness, it is clarity. You cannot heal what you refuse to see. Trauma therapists emphasize that survivors of emotional neglect often confuse external success with authentic self-worth, and naming that confusion breaks the first wall.
What was the self-worth bit, that sentence?
trauma therapists emphasize that survivors of emotional neglect, right? So coming from a family that was high performance, or dad wasn't around, or mum wasn't able to nurture you, things that a child should, be nurtured in, and their plants should be watered. Growing up with emotional neglect often confuse external success with authentic self-worth. And naming that confusion breaks the first wall. Step 2, seek trauma-informed therapy. This is probably more of the clinical side. Not all therapy is the same. For trauma-driven ambition, evidence-based approaches that directly address the root memories and nervous system patterns are most effective.
I feel like I don't want to do that because it sounds expensive. I want to try and get it fixed here with you.
Yes.
It is expensive.
And then it talks about eye movement, desensitization and reprocessing. It talks about somatic therapy, internal family systems. IFS helps identify the internal parts that drive the overachievement response and heal the child self underneath. So these are where the professionals take over, Whānau. And that's definitely, if something has over the last 3 weeks kind of gone, man, where is that? How can I track it? I can't really move in it. Like, these feelings have come up after hearing the boys talk about this, but I can't really go into it. That's where the professionals need to take over, 100%. 3, practice nervous system regulation. Because this pattern is neurological, healing must include the body. The goal is to teach your nervous system that rest is not a threat. Research supports these practices. Breath work. You're big on that, A, B.
Love it.
Yeah.
There's a Wim Hof. If you've never tried Wim Hof, it's real fascinating kind of practice, I guess. And it's cheap. It's free. But I try to do Wim Hof. You can do it on YouTube if you want to try it out. The one I do is like 11 minutes. Try and do it most days.
So what you're suggesting is I have achieved something, and instead of allowing myself to enjoy it, I'm trying to think of the next goal. I'm stopping, and I'm practicing some breathing to regulate the nervous system.
Maybe a better one is like, when you're in the fire and you're just like, wow, I'm frazzled.
Mm-hmm.
I have this deadline. This person's relying on me. I actually haven't got to those 3 jobs. And that kind of feeling is making you going, what the hell am I doing? Right? I think in those moments is where you'd kind of lean on this.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Breath work, slow extended exhales activate the nervous system. Mindfulness meditation builds capacity to tolerate stillness. That is impossible for me, eh?
I can't meditate.
I shouldn't say that, but that's one where I would try and avoid, because my mind is just like, oh, look at me trying to meditate. Wow, what's that?
Write this down. Let's find someone who can teach us how to meditate on the show.
That would
Here's
be
my
this
buddy.
one.
Like, I love to meditate too. I got Calm. It's an app. You pay $84 a year, but I use it every night.
I heard that's good.
Yeah, meditation for me. My mind. Obviously, I have ADHD, so my mind.
How do you meditate?
That's where I can, like, most nights it's actually really hard. All jokes aside, but when I land it, like when it's good, to me it's like my mind gets so quiet. So yeah, I do meditate.
I want to learn how to do it because I always have a scrap with myself on. Well, this is a waste of time, isn't it?
Oh, I have a
doing
lot of
stuff
those.
right
Same,
I do have a
same.
lot of those. But it's like golf, bro. When you get a good golf day, it's like, yes.
Cold exposure and movement. That's the ice baths. That's what you're getting right
Well, I'm
once
on
a
a
month.
journey, man. I want to move into wellness. I want functionality and wellness needs to be my focus in the next 2 to 3 years. As in, like, I need that in my life.
100%.
They're great, man. As I said in my sauna yesterday, just thinking about
good for
life.
you.
And
I love that. Sleep as non-negotiable priority. Sleep is a huge one. Step 4, let's get into this. Questions and thoughts driving the engine. Let's get to the meat and bones, yeah? Cognitive work is important alongside somatic work. When you notice the compulsive drive, ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if I stop right now? Whose voice is telling me I'm not doing enough? That is an interesting question, eh? I think that is a really interesting question.
Whose voice is telling me I'm not doing enough?
Because sometimes I wonder in my brain, like, yes, I hear my voice, but I'm like, it's really an echo of an experience that I'm trying to avoid. Right? And that doesn't, like, always have a voice for me. This is me personally.
yeah, I'm with you.
Like, but other people, they'll hear their parents' voice, who maybe was extremely hard on them. Or for some people, they might hear a tutor's voice or a teacher. But I think that's a
You
really...
hear a voice, Mark?
I've always thought it was my own voice. I've always thought it was my own voice.
and
but
it
I
most
don't-
likely is.
Yeah.
But it's like, is it?
Is it actually? And why is it saying it?
Fascinating. I don't know if I.
If I achieve the next thing, what do I believe I will finally have? Would I accept this place of life for someone I love?
Ooh.
Would I accept this pace of life for someone I love? Wow.
Okay, that one's gone. Can someone help me out with that? I know I should be able to pick that up, but I feel like it's gone over my head.
Can I say where I think that's meaning?
No, I got you.
Oh,
Yeah.
How you speak to yourself in your moments when you're frazzled? Do you want Winter to talk to
No.
himself like that?
No.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, got you. Thank you. Landed it.
And I think that's the huge paradox we often have is
Oh no.
what's going on up here. If your child was to voice that, how would you speak to your child? No, son. That is not like that kind of
Okay. Yeah.
that kind of love and that uffy.
it's
That's
the ability to pull yourself out of the situation and observe it from a third person, but from a place of love as well.
maybe that's the new like lens we kind of need to walk through. I'm stumbling through this, but I enjoy just stumbling through topics like this. But you know when we hear love yourself, I feel like if you want to hear what that sounds like, if you are a parent, it's how you talk to your kid when they have that self-doubt, when they have those troubles. That's what like that inner voice needs to feel like for you, you know. And it's like it's hard. You just as an adult, you just arrive here.
Yeah.
You just arrive here. You just
So true.
just in this car all of a sudden driving, and you're just like, well, these are the tools I have. This is what I'm working with.
Do as I say, not as I do.
That's such a strange realization that I think everyone can relate to. At some point in your life, you just become an adult. And
Yeah,
you're-
like, when did this happen?
The only thing to navigate with, it isn't Google Maps that knows everything to go through. It's your own set of maps that you've been given / learnt on your way up through the grades.
But Siri ain't helping.
That's it. Step 5: build a new relationship with rest. Clinicians who work with trauma-driven high achievers consistently find that one of the most radical acts of recovery is learning to rest without an agenda. This does not mean abandoning your goals. It means allowing yourself to exist beyond them. But who am I if I'm not
Yeah.
achieving anything? You know, this feeds into so many things. Like, especially, particularly for men, I know men feel like, well, if I can't be relied on, or if I'm not doing anything, like, aren't I useless? Women, will have all of their own ones as well, of course.
Yeah, it's like if you can't attach. This is me. If I can't attach the thing that I'm doing with success, that identifies who I am in that current point in time.
I have and probably completely out of place to even say this, but I do know one that rings familiar with some females who I have been friends with, and of course my wife. Is it the most simplest way that I can refer that feeling would be when you've just had a child and there's that big pressure to breastfeed, and some just can't, and there's that feeling of, well, why me? Why that idea of not being able to perform, and you know what I mean? It's such a simple version of it, but that's something that lives so truly in my mind that we can't relate to it as men. We'll never will know what that feeling is like, but yeah, that rang true to me.
Yeah, we have that between men and women, right?
Yeah.
That we're dealing with, 100%. But just to read that again, this does not mean abandoning your goals. It means allowing yourself to exist beyond them. Trauma therapist Anne Wright recommends observe people who clock out at 5 p.m. with genuine curiosity rather than judgment. Ask yourself what their contentment levels look like compared to yours.
Oh, I hate that word again, contentment.
That's a hard one, eh? That's a hard one. 6, redefine your success on your own terms. Trauma-informed goal setting asks a different question than conventional ambition. Instead of how can I push harder, the question becomes how can I grow in ways that serve my whole self. This means aligning goals with genuine values, not with fear, scarcity, or the need to prove worthiness to people who may no longer even be in your life.
That's a good one.
I feel like my that kind of idea sits well with me at the moment, like where I am in life. Like, obviously choosing a good partner, that's the start. And like I think once I found that, and then being in our whānau environment now, I can feel like I'm frazzled at work, and it's not that I am trying to avoid the problems that are going on here, but I also can decompartmentalize them now and say, well, I'll get to that. But what gives me a lot of joy and purpose and drive is the conversations that me and Nat will have in the kitchen around just us, just the kind of what we're up to. Saying talking through the things that are going on in our mind, and then going, okay, giving ourselves a little bit of uffy there, and then moving on, and then, certain kids need a bit of help, and, well, I've got to do a bit of homework here, or, I've got to take the boys to the park because that's what they need. And, like, that's kind of given me perspective on outside of just this, like, man, how much am I earning this year? Like, what do I have to pay? I've started this project. There's eyes on it now, so I've got to like follow through, and it's got to have a certain amount of motion, and it's got to have a certain amount of traction. And you know how we get in this content game, boys, like, these big scary goals we kind of do, and then it's not quite hitting, and it's like, no, I've got to still get to that, and I've got to figure that out, because that's part of the problems, that the equations that we're doing at work. But I'm able to park that more, because just at the moment I feel like I've kind of come into a more full life. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's always going to feel like this, because the next thing happens, our kids grow, or we're trying to grow somewhere as a whānau or a couple, and they'll bring up their own problems. But
life happens.
100%. But I think where it used to only be about me and about where my brand was going, and even just thinking like that sounds stupid, or where the content's going, or where the audience is going, I've like really been able to let that go as my life has just become a little bit more full. Now, again, a bit that answers the question. Well, is that still just have I really dealt with those feelings, or is
to go full circle?
Is it like, and I have that conversation with my mind all the time. I'm like, well, have you nailed this, or is that just a mask on a mask? It's a good way to look at it, but really, does Jordan deep down feel like he could stop and be enough?
It's that, eh?
100%.
It's that right there.
100%.
I'm going through. There's a change that I'm having in my life, and values are such a like key part of this. I think there's a big difference between a nice guy and a good guy. And I've always been just the nice guy is the easy thing for me, but I actually want to be a good guy. What my values are, what I stand for, actually stand for something. Not just try and be everyone's friend, but still be a really good friend. And so,
that's good.
I'm sitting like, this is my growth that I'm working on at the moment, is that kind of like move from just kind of everything I've always known and just being like that nice guy to try and be a good guy as well, or to try and be a good guy. And that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's a great place to be, bro.
I'm enjoying seeing you boys go through a phase in your lives that brings back such warm feelings for me, and where both your kids are in that age group, and how much that takes out of both you as a couple, and as a parent and as a person. And I hear you say, you find real peace and warmth when you're sitting at home with Nat, just talking about where you guys are at. Because I do remember distinctly, I can almost pinpoint the moment where both Jana and I became team parent, rather than two individuals who are still talking about things, and you can lose yourself in the job of parenting. And I've seen so many friends who are the same age as me now, whose kids have got older and are starting to leave the nest, and the couples they've forgotten who they are and what they were beforehand, and they end up not knowing what else to do other than break up. So keeping yourself and hearing you guys having such special times, even though you're in the middle of it, in the middle of the fight. And I think for me now, I'm kind of encouraged to be able to look after myself and my wife now. Like, I can That's what this whole wellness journey is for me. That's why I'm stretching on
Yeah.
Pilates machines and stuff. Like, what is the best thing for
Got
me
that
right
time
now?
for you. Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah.
And I just look at people now, especially you two, when you go through the thick of it with families and young and kids who've got, they're not well or this and all these kinds of things. It smashes you so much in life. And then you get to my age and you almost miss it because it was so much of who it was. And
Once I
who you
peed the bed at 4 a.m. this morning, you miss it?
are. I missed that. Yeah, believe it or not, you can look back now at this level where I'm at and be like,
bet.
"Ah, damn."
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways.
I get that.
I'm almost finished, guys.
Sorry, one says it out to you like that.
I love that though. We've got to add these real experiences in here.
That's it.
Deliberately investing into friendships and community, especially with people who value you outside of your output, directly counters the relational wound at the core of this pattern. Healing happens in relationship because the wound happened in relationship. Sorry, I read that in the wrong spot. The last one, is build safe relationships. Isolation is one of the most common coping strategies of trauma-driven achievers. Ooh. Don't worry, I got it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good.
Let me give the no. I'm saying that's the thoughts, right? It's like, you know what? I'm gonna just go in my corner. I'm going in my little cave. I'm gonna figure this out on my own.
This is the only child thing.
Mm.
This is a real thing for for me. I figured out recently that maybe you guys found this in your siblings. This is where I think that a lot of people would find it with their siblings. Is that's probably like the safest place you maybe ever felt in your life. Like there was probably just while you're under the roof and you're growing up, you built this like, and I'm just maybe fantasizing because I don't know, but you guys built this trust and this love as siblings growing up. There's this like unbreakable bond between you guys, but in that sphere, you feel so safe. I never had that.
There is truth to that, Brooke. As a kid of who had 3 brothers and sisters, there was we're in this forever anyway. So I'm gonna throw a punch at you, and you'd just both get punished for it. But like there was a feeling that
And so I didn't have that, and so like now for me, I don't know how to find that safe space, and like, so I hide in the corner, like I just let me go deal with this on my own. And I didn't know that this is like I internalized it like this until recently. But there's something about, I would imagine there's something about having a safe space that you can have in the world that's you and someone else in there, or you and a few people in there. That just must be the most amazing feeling in the world.
Yeah, mine's a little bit. Yeah. I hear those words, man. Like I don't know if it's quite like that for me.
Yeah,
It's a little
maybe I
different,
fantasize
but
that.
I think about myself being an only child, and I don't really consider that. Like that would be like really difficult. Yeah.
Because you don't know. Like you don't know what you don't know. Obviously, as I'm getting older, I'm learning about all of this stuff. But I would just hold on. Where's a room that no one's in it? Oh yeah, sweet. I'll go and hide over here. And that's not like physical. That's like in my head. Like I just go and do that.
that's why I love
Quiet, bro. It's quiet.
In particular, Jordan and I will go toes at each other, and we'll just go back and forth. That's just I see.
Used to it.
I'm seeing how many times how far you can push
You
the
see
limit.
Brooke go, can you stop fighting now?
Sometimes I don't even walk in the room now when I feel you guys are at round 4 already. You got 8 rounds to go.
Well, part of that is answered that as deliberately investing in friendships and community, especially with people who value you outside of your output. Directly counters the relational wound at the core of this pattern. That's what I was saying before. Healing happens in relationship because the wound happened in relationship. That is such a powerful statement, right? To heal yourself through this has to be healed through the very thing that you're trying to avoid, right? So just using your case as an example, that's why it feels so foreign, because the very place you need to go to get better is the very thing you didn't have.
Bro, and
right?
I know that I've never, I truly know that I've never let anyone in. Like that. I'm talking about you. Like I'm talking about like my closest friends, people that I love, I adore, my brothers, sisters, family. I know this for a fact. I know that I have truly never, ever, really let anybody in. Which is like even like Winter's mom, we had the most, even still, it's like it's a real thing. But I didn't realize this until I was a little bit older.
Totally. And what the thing is,
I didn't know this at that time.
And you know what? That's not going to be forever.
I hope not.
You know, it's not. It's honestly, even you being able to voice that and making it a thing, like makes room for the universe to move or God to put someone in your life, or like it does. It just because before putting words to it, you're like, this is how I am. What do you mean?
For sure.
Like it's literally just the putting the words to it starts to just like move things
The dial,
and dial.
Yeah.
Did you sorry, this is out of curiosity. I would imagine that winter is there.
Yeah, no, I hope to. Obviously, he's 4, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, I hope to, as we get older and he gets more mature, that there is that with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have already thought about that. And I have to be as honest and transparent. Like, that's what it is. Like, just be, love me like this, warts and all. I don't show people that. And so I really hope that Winter does get that. So then he feels safe enough that he can go and do it in the future too.
I think you've been cautious not to try and get something out of the father-son relationship that isn't his to fill for you. You know what I mean? Which is really, really good. You know, that's what I'm hearing there. Some of y'all get your and you be just bombarding them with, you know, the child's raising you. I'm not judging that. You know, I'm not judging. Last thing, the reframe. Healthy ambition and healed ambition are not the same thing, whānau. But they are not opposites either. When ambition is rooted in healing rather than survival, success finally starts to feel like peace. You can still want great things. You can still build. You can still work hard. You can still achieve. The difference is that you do it from a place of wholeness, not from the breathless urgency of someone still running from the house that was on fire. If you have built something remarkable from a painful beginning, that is not nothing. That is extraordinary. The work of healing is not about tearing down what you have built. It is about finally being able to enjoy it. It is about building the rest of your life from a foundation of self-worth rather than self-proof. You were always enough, whānau. The ambition just didn't know that yet.
Damn.
Look, it ain't perfect. It wasn't a perfect 3-part series, okay? But if we can talk about these things a little bit better, you know, we're not doctors, man. We're not blooming. We didn't go to uni for this. We're just trying to help, man. If we can probe, if we can... Look, I live my life by this quote. And some people think it's a great quote. Some people think it's stupid. But you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? But you can put salt in its food. That is the money right there. We're in the business of salt, baby. If we just sprinkled that, maybe tomorrow, maybe right now, you're like, I'm gonna go deal with that. Maybe 3 months from now, it'll be boom! Damn! They were really right 3 months ago, but I didn't think about it. I don't know. Who cares? We're in the business of salt, and that's what we're selling. That's the best we can get. You can have that sugar. We ain't sweet around here. Any last thoughts? You guys good? Fuzzies?
That's enough for me.
That's your
Brooks like, did I have a share? No, we good.
Hey, thanks so much to Speights helping mates. Be better, mate.
I need an ultra beer after that. Speights for real.
This is The Shift. The Shift.
Go home, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go home.
The Morning Shift.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Shift.
I love it.
This is The Shift.
Got it.
Okay.
I like the bird.